let's speak to our correspondent, Seema Gupta, standing by in the Vatican. She joins us now. Hello to you, Seema. The homily, very moving. Take us through what was said.
For Pope Francis.
Pope Francis, more than 250,000 people. That's what the authorities are saying have turned up for this funeral service. And you're right, William, about that homily. Quite an amazing one, delivered by a 91-year-old cardinal, Cardinal Giovanni Battista Re, the Dean of the College of Cardinals. Now, it really touched on the life and legacy of Pope Francis, about his pastoral leadership, about how he had direct contact with people at many points in time, and how he often spoke about the marginalized, and how it was important to open one's heart and talk to them, and how he had great spontaneity as well, and charisma, a charisma that touched the hearts and reawakened the moral sensibilities, is what he mentioned. There were moments of applause during the homily, particularly when the Cardinal Re talked about migrants. He remembered the very first visit that Pope Francis made as Pope. The first travel he did out of the Vatican was to the island of Lampedusa here in Italy, in which he met with migrants and refugees. And he talked about his visit to the island of Lesbos as well, where he did bring back some refugees from that island to the Vatican. There was a huge round of applause at that point. And he particularly also mentioned the Pope's visit to the border between the United States and Mexico. Interesting that this was mentioned also in the presence, of course, of the American President Donald Trump, who was in attendance together with his wife, Melania. Then he talked about his visit to Iraq and also to Southeast Asia, where he went to the peripheries of the periphery. So really a highlight of Pope Francis's life, and particularly how even a week ago, just on Sunday, when he implored the world to end all wars and try to turn to negotiation. Of course, in that message that he gave at Easter, the Pope talked about specifically Ukraine, but of course everything that's happening in Israel and in the Palestinian territories. So he ended off by saying, as much as the Pope often ended every audience that he had calling on people to pray for him, Cardinal Re now called on the Pope, who is no longer with us, to continue to pray for us. So really, it was quite a moving homily, something that the people gathered here at St. Peter's Square clearly appreciated, even as you can hear the helicopters above me as we prepare now, of course, for that final part of this funeral, when the body of Pope Francis will be transferred through the city of Rome to Santa Maria Maggiore, or St. Mary Major, one of the 4 papal basilicas of Rome, where he has chosen to be buried.
Yeah, we hear the helicopters. We also see them on our screen. A reminder of how tight security is. Can you give us some details on that, Seema?
Yes, we've had reports that there are thousands and thousands of security personnel being deployed, additional police. We've also got patrols along the Tiber River, because, of course, it's not just happening here, but through the city of Rome, and snipers on rooftops on Via Conciliazione to make sure that, of course, those dignitaries are well protected. So security very tight. We did see a drone perhaps taking the top images that we saw, some beautiful images of above the square, but other than that, no other drones allowed, and the authorities even have jamming devices to control these drones if there are seen any. But for the most part, this part of the funeral seems to have gone off quite smoothly. People on the ground, of course, having to deal with some of the heat of the day, but at least it's a beautiful spring day for this event.
All right, Seema, thank you very much. Seema Gupta reporting all